Hey guys, we're back again, and this time we're going to talk about Dark Cloud 2 for the PS4 because it has trophies and that's what I'm all about. So, just to start off, the basic summary is that you're Max, you're rich, you want to go to the circus. A couple weird things happen on the way to the circus, but you manage to get there. You go up to a higher level so you can get a better view of what's going on, and you overhear the circus master pretty much blackmailing the mayor. And so a couple different things happen, and then you're on the run from a psychotic circus master. You end up meeting up with Monica, and essentially what's going on is in the future there's this guy called Emperor Griffin who's trying to control the world. You have the red Amatalia, which is this red gem, and Monica has the blue Amatalia. The blue Amatalia lets her go to the past, which she is where she is with you right now, and you have the red Amatalia that lets you go to the future. Your goal is to go to the different origin points of certain things in the future. Griffin is destroying the origin points of certain significant areas in the future so that way they won't get created. So like the Luna Laboratories or Gundora Workshop or whatever. So you have to go to the origin points and restore them to what they used to be so that way you can restore those points in time in the future so that they can be prepared to fight Griffin when the time comes. I just want to start off by saying all the things I really liked about this game. What I did kind of like was that there definitely was a lot of things to do, which I'll go into a little bit later. You know, we've had fishing, we had Sfida, we had the dioramas, we had all that stuff, and they were all really fun to do. And if you didn't feel like doing the main thing, you can take some time and upgrade your weapons. You could take some time and make different inventions and do all this different stuff that you didn't really have to stay on the main story's trail or do the dungeons a billion times, because you could do all these other things. I also really like the weapon upgrading. The way the weapon upgrading works in this Dark Cloud and the past one is that you'll use a weapon and your weapon will gain experience. And when your weapon gains a level, depending on what stage it's in, it'll get a certain number of experience, certain number of synthesis points, being between 2 and 6. Then you'll go to your items box, and different items can be converted to like synthesis points. So like one tasty water might give you like 1 chill point or 1 scale point, and you'll put that on your weapon and it'll increase the chill and scale, which does, you know, either elemental damage or might do whatever, and you'll need to get those stats up to a certain point to upgrade it to a better weapon. So it might be that you need to get your sword to have 30 flame before it can turn into the next different kind of sword, you know? So I really liked that about it because I felt like I could really kind of customize, even if I could choose which path I wanted it to go and do all whatever. I really, really liked that about the game. And that's about it. That's the only thing I really like about the game, even though I remember liking way more about it as a kid. Now let me tell you the things I don't like. Max, Monica, and the story, they're very fucking bland. Barely anything there, almost no personality other than Max likes to build things. And the story is as simple as go to point A, find out what the issue is, build the thing back up, go to the future, get whatever items you need, move on to the next area, or like fight boss, then move on to the next area. It is so bare bones and barely there that I actually detested it whenever it went into like, oh, let's talk about the story, because it was just, who cared? Not me. Certainly not me. It was so bad and so boring and almost just like tacked on. Like the main thing they wanted to focus on was the gameplay, and they were like, oh yeah, like here's the story. Oh, and let me just give a brief, let me just give a brief thing of, you know how I mentioned how I like doing they had all different things for me to do? Let me tell you, that actually became a thing I hated about the game. I put it in both because when I was playing more casually, I actually really enjoyed it. But the harder I went to try and get all the trophies, the worse it became. Honestly, let me just list for you some of the things I had to do. Upgrade Max and Monica's weapons to be their max weapons. So that means getting Monica's Island King and 5-star amulet, and getting Max's Legend Hammer as well as his Supernova gun. Now I didn't have to upgrade the stats to the max stats, but for doing the epilogue chapter, which I am required to do for some of these trophies, it's recommended, and I definitely had to do it because otherwise I wasn't doing nearly enough damage to the enemy. Upgrading Steve the Ripod to max out his core, that actually wasn't too bad. Upgrade Monica's monster badges, get all of them by the way, and then upgrade one of them to max. That was a pain in the ass because the monster badges are super fucking weak and they barely do any damage, and I have to use them for medals, so I have to upgrade them partially at least throughout the game, and you really don't want to be doing this until the final area of the game, and it's just, to use them, it's such a pain in the ass, and it's just, I don't even want to get into it. But trust me, it is so terrible. They don't even really explain to you how you need to get these monster badges. You have to just figure it out, look it up, or happen to talk to this one lady a second time, because there is no tutorial for it. Get every medal in the game. So this means every floor of every dungeon, you need to get all the medals. So the medals that are defeating monsters within a certain time, need all of those. You need to get every Sphida medal, Sphida being the kind of golfing mini game in this game where you're closing dimensional holes, which is bullshit because you only get a certain number of turns to do it, and there are certain like stipulations that were like, oh, the ball and the hole have to be different colors, and sometimes the ball falls through the geometry of the world, and they just really fuck you over with that. You need to get all those medals. You need to get the fishing medals, which aren't too bad except for early in the game when your rod's really bad and it's not upgraded enough. That's not too terrible. But then you also need to get the medals for killing monsters in a certain way. Items, monster transformation, Monica's magic. Some of these are just super shitty, especially the item ones, because later in the game where bombs, even the final bomb is barely effective in the 8th chapter, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to use the elemental stones, which you can't even buy, you can only find. So once you use up all your elemental stones, you actually have to just grind around till you find enough again, and that's awful. And not only that, but once you get into the epilogue chapter, which has like 36 floors, so that's 36 floors with at least 3 medals on each floor. That's just so fucking or whatever it is. It's so annoying. Not only that, but the dungeon right before Moonflower Palace becomes inaccessible. So if you didn't get all of them there, then you're fucked. You can't get all of them. You're gonna have to go back a chapter and do the whole thing over again. So make sure before you move on, you have all medals. I can't tell you how super careful I was about this. So that was also a pain in the ass. Recruiting all the characters, not too terrible. Almost missed one because I didn't know I had to use Monica to get her, but almost missed one. Win the fishing frenzy, also a pain in the ass. You have to raise your fish's stats up super crazy high to the 70s or 100s, and the only way to do that is through breeding and feeding them certain bait, every 2 to 3 real-time minutes. That is so fucking annoying, and you need this for You need this to get the recruitment trophy also, not just its own trophy. You need it for the recruitment trophy because one of the girls requires you to get it, and the only way for you to do the money trick, to get the money glitch, to get all the money with the lures, you need her because the girl only will give you lures. Everything is connected, and that's part of why everything sort of sucks. Because if you only want to do one thing or a few things, you end up doing everything. There's also 100%ing the Georama, which isn't bad if you don't really feel like waiting till later in the game to 100% because of the star path bullshit in this game. Then, which the star paths in certain areas only become available later in the game, you could just look it up. But the Moonflower Palace one is bullshit because you have to essentially, instead of having the freedom to create, you will have to go ahead and make it identical to what it was previously based on pictures. So just look up a guide online. Honestly, the Georama in this game was so disappointing. I remember really liking doing like Georama stuff or whatever it was called in the first game because, I don't know, it just felt a lot better than the way I had to do it in this game. In the other game, you found items and you had to piece it together, so like, put a character in a character's house, and then maybe they'd have like I'd like to be closer to a cave, or I'd like to be near so-and-so. But in this one, it was like, now you can create things. You have to go get elements to create the thing, and then, you ran out of those elements, go buy the elements with money. And then it was just, it took I had so much fun in the first game with it, but I felt like this game really took the fun out of it. I did not enjoy the Georama in this game at all. It was easily one of the worst parts of this game, and that's such a shame because I really liked that in the first game. You have to make every invention in the game. You don't have to create them, you just have to invent it, like the idea of it. This is a pain in the ass because you need 3 pictures of different things for each invention, and if you don't look it up online, then you gotta randomly find them throughout the world. Good luck with that because there's like 150 to 200 of them. You can only hold 30 pictures in your camera, and you'll have to be traversing between the future and the past constantly to do this. And not only that, but sometimes it requires you to have pictures of things you didn't know you would need. For instance, if you didn't get a picture of Linda, the elephant thing, in the first dungeon, but you need her to create something, good fucking luck. What you'll have to do, if you're watching this still, what you'll have to do is create a second game. Okay, there's this thing called the photo album in your house. Get it from your room. Once you get out of the first chapter, you can get it. What you'll need to do is create a second game get the picture you need, play up until you can beat the first dungeon and move on to the second chapter, go back, get the photo album in the second game, put that one picture or whatever pictures you need into the album, save the album data to one of your memory cards, and then load that album data in your main game and get the picture you need. Is that a pain in the ass? You bet it fucking is. Use a guide for this. Trust me, you're gonna want to use a trophy guide for the inventions and stuff like that. And connected to that is the photography to level 8 stuff, which was also a pain in the ass, because if you are there are only 750 different different points you can get, and you need 700 to get to level 8, because every 100 is the next level. And if you don't remember what you took a picture of and what you didn't take a picture of, you're gonna have to take a picture of literally everything to make sure you get enough points. So that was lovely. Honestly, I would have enjoyed this game a lot more if I just ignored most of that stuff, because what I would have done was I wouldn't have participated in the fishing, I would not have participated in the Sfida, I wouldn't have done any of the medals, I wouldn't have done the fishing frenzy, all that side stuff they gave me, I would not have touched, because I wouldn't have cared. The only thing I liked was the monster. I just liked the weapon upgrades, and I kind of liked fighting the monsters and getting through the game. But even then, I practically probably would not have done the epilogue, because the epilogue would have required me to fully max upgrade everything, and I already didn't want to do any of this. Like, the weapon upgrades probably one of the things I might have pushed myself for, because I liked the weapon upgrades, and I felt very, very powerful once everything was fully maxed out. Very powerful. It made a huge difference, especially with Monica's magic. But some of the other stuff, all the other things, 100% Giorama, the fishing, all of it, the monster badge, I would not have even bothered with. And honestly, that ruined the game for me. And if it sounds like I'm not really talking about the game itself and I'm just talking about all the side stuff, it's because the game barely has a story. It's practically not there. The characters are really shallow, almost nothing. It felt like this game was just the side content. And honestly, I didn't like most of it. The reason why I liked it so much back then was because I ran through parts of the game just upgrading my weapons. I didn't even bother really touching any of this side stuff. And then when the trophies said, hey, you should be doing the side stuff, I realized, wow, all of it's really fucking stupid. And if you like that, that's perfectly fine. You have every right to enjoy this game. But I will say that for me personally, it really kind of fell flat, and I was honestly so upset by it, because I remember having a pretty great time with it when I was younger. But it turns out the only reason I liked it was because I really wasn't playing all of it, and I was only paying attention to the parts I did like. Trophy hunting this game was not worth it. I don't recommend it, and if I were to ever replay it, it would only be on the PS4, because I ain't getting all these fucking trophies again. It is 1,000,000% not worth it, and I'm not going to put myself through this. I don't know if I'll ever even replay this game again, because I realized I don't know if I really even like it. The parts I like are so small compared to what this game did have that it's not even worth it. And also the plot's barely there and very much lacking, so I'm not really getting anything out of it. To be honest, I might never touch Dark Cloud 2, which kind of saddens me, if only because I remember liking it so much. But that's what happens when you come back to games you played when you were younger. You find that they're not always good, you know? Anyway, don't recommend this game. Don't play it. I wouldn't even say to play the regular game, honestly, without getting trophies. I wouldn't even say casually play it. Just don't buy it, I don't think. Sorry if I sound congested this whole time. I have a cold of some sort or something. So I'm going to go on to play Dark Cloud 1 finally. I really want to play that one now and see how I feel about it, because I remember quite liking that one too. I didn't gravitate to it as much as Dark Cloud 2, but there was a lot I really did like about it, and so we'll see how I feel about that one now that I've kind of destroyed any love I had for Dark Cloud 2 completely. Hopefully it turns out Dark Cloud, please Dark Cloud 1, please don't be bad. I beg of you. Anyway, let me know what you thought of Dark Cloud 2 if you played it in the comments below, or if you've attempted to get these trophies, because honestly, if you have, tell me how terrible it was, because it really fucking was terrible, at least for me. And sorry if this video is kind of lengthy. I just really wanted to get my thoughts out on all the different aspects of the game, and this is like my 5th time trying to make this video without completely rambling on, but there's not much I could do. It's going to be a long video regardless because I have a lot to say about all the side bullshit. But anyway, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!